Welcome in everybody to episode 8 of the Form Hunter. Last week we got home a few winners, I think about 20 or 21 winners or so that we got, and one of them was a big $26 shot over in Albion Park, driven by Luke Whitaker. He did a good ride there, good drive there, and got the chocolates. We had Evangelist win for us, and that was at about $10 and $11. But anyway, a little bit late to the recording, so we're going to miss out on tipping Thursday at Alexandra Park, because if we head over to the TAB, it's 24 minutes away, and by the time I record this, the first race would have run. So there are my selections there for the week, for the Thursday night at Alexandra Park, but we are only going to be able to get into the Friday meetings, whereas we've got one in Invercargill. We've got Invercargill, the Southern Racing, back this week, Addington, and we've got another one on Sunday at Addington as well. So we'll start off at Old Mate Addington on a Friday night, race number 1. Live On Legend. It's a cheeky little horse, this one. Really good effort last start, I thought. Really handy to the line, did a bit of stack of work early and just sort of kept on giving. And it's $2.10 into $1.80. And we'll just bring up its last start run because it was pretty eye-catching. And Johnny Cox for Kyle Austin combo goes well. And yeah, we'll just bring up this run and you'll be able to see it's a pretty handy effort. In a similar field, was able to leave the gate okay. No real explosive gate speed, I would have to say. And it is drawn in barrier 5 again. So barrier 4 here on last Friday. Does leave okay, not blistering, one out wider on the arm. The one Blair Orange is driving gets out and goes a bit rough, and we're able to tuck in and get sort of dragged back in the running line. Then we come out 3 wide and improve, and we're able to wrestle the lead off the Ricciero Raider, and we just sort of get to the top and roll along. And I thought we had everyone beat here last start. Look at that. They don't really gap away and lose too often. But you can say Jimmy James Maguire, is it? Yeah, Jimmy James Maguire got really brave, but we come again at the end of this run, and a couple strides past the post, Live On Legends back in front. So interesting sort of run that. The sectionals weren't too hectic, 57.5, 28.8. I think it has a little bit left in the tank, Live On Legend, but you can see just sort of once he got clear in the straight, he sort of switched off, and Johnny tried to give him a few reminders, but I think that is one of the short price favourites of the night, and it should definitely be winning in my book. And then we go to race number 2. Miss Yo has already had some specking early. If you go back in the form, Highgrove is prominent in here. Did win and beat Jesper Fast. Kenny Kiko's in there. Highgrove, the winner there. It came 5th at Ashburton in a nice mile. So it's got a bit of ability. But one thing I'm just going to bring up is King of Love. I thought it was a really good, nice run last start. Really hit the line with a full of gutso. And yeah, Ben Hope's got the 15-meter handicap to deal with. So that is a slight intrigue, but Maui was the eventual race winner in here. I tipped out Royal Pride in the same race, but it was an interesting fixture. And you can see here, King of Love drawn in barrier 2, just sort of misses the kick there, misses the stand and sort of slow to begin. But I thought it has stepped nicely before, and I'd like to take it on again, and it just sort of got buried away on the pegs. We fast forward down to the back straight for the final lap. We're for the fence. We have a horse, Royal Pride, gallop in front of us, which causes us to go out and widen around. So we've already lost a few lengths there. Then Ben angles it back down to the lane, runs into a bit of traffic. Maui goes down for the lane now. The run comes, and we're still looking for a bit of a run there. And then Ben sees the gap, pulls the hood, and we're off to the races here through that gap. Royal Pride snuck up on our inside. That's a flashing run, but we just ran out of room here and then just hit the line nicely. And really, look at that. After the line, we get in front. So I think King of the Love is probably trotting as good as it has been. And it comes into a race where I think it should be winning. There's not too many scary opposition in here. We've got a young 3-year-old peak filly who's only won one race, and King of Love has won the 2 and gets the 15-meter handicap. I don't think that's too much of a handicap, especially because there's only 2 runners on the front and will be wider on the track. We'll be able to use it sort of as a ramp. If it steps, it can get into the trail of maybe Missio, get to the front hand up to the right one and get up the passing lane, or even just lead him out the whole way. But King of Love race 2, would be keen to get on him, but you would want to back Missio as well, just because Blair Orange and Jack Harrington, they do have a good combo, do have a good strike rate, and of course it's had a bit of money early doors. Then we go to race number 4, and Evangelist and Smiffeys Terror. Evangelist was one I tipped last week, won at about $10 or $11, comes back and goes up in class, and has got an interesting sort of race here. I think Smiffeys Terror is definitely the class horse, but there's a few Michael House runners, a few Brent White runners, and it's just an interesting race. But Evangelist does have enough gate speed, I think, to cross, and then it's got options to hand up to the right horse, and I think the Quinella in that race would be beneficial to back. You'd just go Smiffeys Terror and Evangelist, and yeah, you should be going fine with that. Then we go to race number 5, another John Dunn horse, Absolute Dynamite. I do absolutely have time for this thing. I think it's full of ability. It is a hot field, this one. We've got Don Mara, who looks a nice genuine type. Sportscam was a really good last start winner. We've got Tide and Time on the back row, handy enough. We've got Jimmy James Maguire, who won really nicely. We got JR Bromack, who's back from 2 years and just ran like a machine and ran into second behind, I think maybe Absolute Dynamite, I think it might have been anyway. But yeah, Absolute Dynamite on the inside, John Dunn, 1980 meters, no gear changes, but I think if they can get it out of the gates, and they probably have been working on in this week, I think Absolute Dynamite can lead or hand up to JR Bromack and get it up the passing lane. I think it's a horse with plenty of ability, and Absolute Dynamite should be getting home. Then we go to race number 9. Interesting race. Brie Express does look pretty handy. 4 starts, 1 win, hasn't missed a placing. Then we've got Ain't No Angel, who's really nice on the back row there for Brad Williamson. I really do like that horse. And it's just a competitive looking race, but I think Brie Express can do it tough. It's sat parked and battled on for 3rd. There's not too much danger on the inside there. So I'd really be keen to take on Brie Express there, and maybe Ain't No Angel, Quinellas, and potentially I'm expecting an improved effort from Prima Donna, and Bob Butt is driving. So that's one to throw into your multiples and your trifectas and first fours. Then we go to race number 10, another shorty on the program. I think it's $2.40 from memory. It's $2.50. There's a bit of money I see now for Morrissey. That's interesting to see, but I think the Coalman's got a good engine on it and did show a bit of ability behind Hale Lucius last start. So it was a pretty nice run. Samantha Otley, Mark Jones, the stable's firing. Songbird on the back row has been going good races, but it just seems like a bit of an open race. And I think if Morrissey heads out to the pegs, we can maybe try and cross Morrissey, get to the top, and dictate things. So that's Friday night covered. And in the daytime, we do have Invercargill. We're back down in the south, so we'll bring up those races quickly. And race number 2 is where we're going to kick things off, and it's Smokin Cheddar. Now, this horse I thought is pretty handy in the trials there down at Chertsey behind Millwood Dior, who's a winner and has been sold over to Aussie. It was a really decent trial, never asked for anything, and was always gaining on Millwood Dior at the line. And, decent time, nothing too crazy. But I just thought at the $5 on open, this Who's Better's horse has let me down for Nathan Williamson the last few weeks. I think Night Sky is better than an $11 chance for Matthew Williamson. I think Chogi goes all right, but I'd like to see Smokin Cheddar lead out. Kieran Tomlinson for Brad Williamson. just get to the pegs and just dominate, really. I think they've been taken a while with this horse. Obviously was not too happy being a 2-year-old, and so it should be a nice strong 3-year-old now. And Smokin Cheddar looks to have a bit of ability on paper, so would definitely be keen to take that on. And then we go to race number 5, Dalness, Arizona. Now, this is a bit of a head scratcher one, but just bear with me because we'll bring up some footage on it, because I do think it's over the odds again, and they keep offering double digits for it. I think it's its last 3 runs have been, yeah, good, decent double digits. So 12, 7s, $20. It's just been knocking on the door for me. And you can see this race at Invercargill where it drew barrier 1. Did enough to hold the leaders back from memory, or was it 3 fence? This was a while ago now, but you can see there Matthew Williamson was driving it. He was able to rev it up and get 3 the fence, and just never really got a run. And you can see at the top of the straight here, when they go for home, he gets held up by the one in front, and Matty pulls to the outside. And it's not a horse with real sprint speed. It's just a 66 start battler, but you can see it finally gets out and it ducks back to the inside, and it shows a bit for a 66 start. And the ones from the back are swooping now. But Matty tried to get every single bit of speed out of the horse, but just once it got carried back that touch, that probably was the undoing of it. But then we go to the amateurs race where Happy Place won for Cherie Wig, and we drew down on the inside again, but we don't really have enough gate speed here at Addington to go out and roll with them from barrier 2. Just sort of get stuck in a funny place this race, get caught real deep in the running line. We get 3 wide coming around on the outside, and we just get locked up, and we're about 3rd or 4th to last here as they turn for home. And Blair Wilmot does his best to get us out. Top of the stretch, we go 5, 6 wide, and you can see us just whacking away on the outside, but we are sort of strong to the line. And Happy Place has gone on to win another race. Willie Rock's gone all right. Bolzano goes all right. Got some Glam, Betterfly. They go all right, those horses. So it's not the worst form I've ever seen, but I think barrier 1, Matthew Williamson in the bike, just can hopefully lead. Sherwood Maggie might come out for a look. Swedish Starlet might come out for a look. Like, there's a bit of gate speed in this race compared to the last time it was drawn barrier 1. So it could get crossed. But if Matty can kick it up on the inside, we've got options, and it's a pretty weak looking field. So 12 and 380 each way all day for Matty Williamson and Nigel Chalmers. Then we go to race number 8. Percy. Interesting horse. I've tipped it out 2 weeks in a row, and it couldn't have gone any better. And it just lost by an absolute whisker. I thought it was just going to get there on the line, but it was always running up. It was always fighting up an uphill battle. But you can see it's 3 fence here, buried away, and just watch it get into its work. Percy just gets held up there, finally gets its head to the outside sulky wheel, secures that run up the lane, and Brigadier's son is all out on his feet here, and Percy is just hitting the hopples, hitting, getting on the line, and it's in front past the post. God damn, Percy. It's got enough gate speed, I think, to maybe try and get to the pegs, but drawn barrier 3, the gate speed inside us, we might be in a bit of a tricky situation. I do think Libby Desma isn't the best out, so I think I'm Trouble might go for a look. Percy might go out and have a look as well, and we could find ourselves, 1 or 2 back the fence. Magnetic Terrorism here. It's another one I tipped out at $7.50 and it won last start. I just don't think barrier 1 is going to be the best posse for it, and it might not get a run until really late in the piece. But it's a very interesting race 8. Anyone could win that. But yeah, would be keen to take on that maybe a box first 4 with those ones, but leaning towards Percy just on the fact that it deserves it, really. It's been going honest races, and he goes good, Percy. So I think I've been calling her a she. Then we go to race number 9. We've got Hanging with Hector, and I just thought its last start win was really nice. It was behind Bobby Waterhouse, who's paraded as a pretty good horse. I think it's the brother to Tommy Waterhouse, and we know how good that thing is. And yeah, you can see Nathan gets a nice, lovely trip in transit. And you can see just swinging on the back of Bobby Waterhouse here. And Nathan just gets the lane and absolutely breezes by, to be fair. Really nice striding horse here. Hanging with Hector. Too big, too strong up the passing lane. So that's a nice looking win and something to go off on. And from barrier 1, I think it can lead. I think it can win. The race doesn't look too scary. And I think, yeah, you're doing yourself a favor backing him. We'll just quickly see when this race at Alexandra Park kicks off in 10 minutes. Sweet, I've got a little bit more time. We go to race, then we go to Addington on the Sunday. Pretty interesting sort of meeting we got there. Obviously the odds aren't out, so I can't show you them. But yeah, race number 2, a classical act, trot up really well. Could be running on in the final stages of the race. I think Bobby Waterhouse definitely gets its chance here, drawn barrier 2 over the 2,600 meters. Kimberly's driving. If it gets to the top and dictates, it could be a real good chance. But I think over the 2,600 meters, the way a classical act got home, it might be at generous enough odds to back on the each way. So classical act in race number 2. Then we go to race number 3, Trot to Chevron, who's a first starter for the Duns. Look, it looks pretty average, that race. These Dun horses are never maidens for too long, and especially in the trotting ranks. And that second behind Eurocash, who's a multiple race winner, I believe, was really nice. And yeah, so it's indicated it can do some of the donkey work against race winners, and it just goes up against non-winners tomorrow on Sunday in a 2,000 meter race. So I think if it steps, it can get to the front. It will be very hard to beat, and might be at a very short quote. Race number 4, Hidden Desire, just as honest as they go. Just look at that form. Was yarning to Sam Thornley, thinks it's an honest horse. He probably will be able to get it step away, and it'll just be a genuine chance. Interesting runner is Cypress, who's gone to Aaron Swain from the Hopes. And yeah, it's sort of goes all right, that horse. John Dunn at factor in these sort of races, but Hidden Desires deserved everything. It deserves a win, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm bloody tired. So race number 5, we've got Midnitetraintogeorgia. I've tipped this horse out down south, and then it's gone and trolled up at Rangiora. It's now with Matt Purvis. The beach looks like it's given itself another few lengths. We'll pick it up on the run home here in a trial at Rangiora. Comes to the outside of the Mark Jones one. Is asked for a bit of an effort, hanging in a bit, but John Dunn able to just coax it home and does start pulling away at the line, and he does sit reasonably quiet in the last sort of 50 or 100 meters. So Midnitetraintogeorgia, I know it's a horse with gate speed. If it can get to the pegs, that field looks pretty weak, to be honest, and it should be winning. So blinds are off, sliding blinds go on, and the cornel collar goes on to stop it choking. Then we go to race number 7, open race. Didn't really want to tip anyone on this one, but I think Soviet Star galloped last start, and anything that gallops and still runs a second or almost one, you've sort of got to back it next start. Where's Daddy had a really nice trial, only gets 10 meter handicap, 2,600 meters. It'll be right there at the finish. And then we go to Royal Pride in race 9. We showed you that race earlier on the podcast with Ben Hope on King of Love. And you can see we galloped from just a slight easing of the speed. But I think if we get any chance, Royal Pride definitely can get the chocolates in this race. There's some nice horses from Brad Williamson's stable in here. That's a little bit scary to deal with, but I think Royal Pride, if it trots all the way, it should just be winning. I mean, it's been as honest as they come, and it's been trying its hard out, but it just gallops a slight. Then we've got Leonard Skinner. I like this horse down south. It's had a trial to prepare at North Otago Trials. Unfortunately, they don't have any video footage. The sectionals were pretty okay, mediocre, but I just think this horse has a big engine, and I think he might suit the old Addington Raceway. So if Leonard Skinner can get out of the gate, find the top. He's a big boy, big unit. He'll be hard to run down. No real sprint speed, but he does have a good one-paced sprint on him. We're just going to check the quick little time left on Alexander Park, 5 minutes. That's just enough time for us to quickly go over the Australian picks. I believe. So Thursday night, we've got Megan, Lalabella, Prodigal Guinness. Friday, we've got Rakiro Blaze, who's over there now with the Andy Gas stable. I think Mr. Bohannon's a horse who will like being in Barrier 1. He seems to not have too much luck. We've got King of Trumps and Jeremy Wells running around at Wagga. We've got Debutante Party and Miss Montana. We've got Rock and Roll Mama, who's, of course, a Group 1 placed horse. Won well last week at $3.80. We've got Celsi Bill, who got sold to Aussie for about 60K. And it hasn't lost since arriving. It's a strong horse out of Falcon Sealster, I think, and it just goes good. Really not like that horse. And then Right About Angus, yeah, probably gonna not have to back that one. But race 7, Starver Marvin, loves the gate speed, loves Mildura, couldn't be on speed and can win. Race number 3 is my best bet on Friday night, Albion Park. Hector trialled up good, then it came out and just had no luck, and it's, I think it's a duck egg in the form, but it was better than it looked, and it was well held to the line. Gonna Need a Margarita used to be with Brent Mangoes. That thing will go right. It's back in a grade that it should be winning in. Saturday night, Jazzy Star, gonna go with it again. It's an honest horse. Gliding Away, drawn Barrier 1, should be winning. Race 3, Shan Lu might be over the odds, can get out and win. BK Swash should be there or thereabouts. Lewis Lit, race 5, Surface Delight, Arden's Ace, been going, good races again. Ultra Orlando and Zeus Bromac, that should be the Quinella, to be honest. Race number 10, One Apollo. It gets the mobile. If it trots in one piece, it can win the race. It might be at generous odds. Then we go to Albion Park, Major Jealous in the first, been going good over there. Pelosi, Delightful Dude, and Artillery in race 3. Girls Are Best. I think it's definitely going to like Albion Park rather than Redcliffe. A bit more bigger track to work into it. Race 5, Ronaldo's been going good races. And AG's White Sox over in Albion Park, over in Queensland now. Deus Ex in there. Spirit of St. Louis, Firefox. So that's an interesting race, race number 6. Slip the Hundy's been going real good over in Aussie. That's going to get every chance. I think it's drawn the 2, the back row, so it might be able to get a nice sit, maybe 1-1 even. Global Flight's been trotting up a storm, and Doff Your Cap. So has as well. So that's going to be a very competitive race. Shepparton, race 1, Rock and Tommy Rules, won well last start. Aladdin won really well last start. Humble Lad has a chance to get out from Barrier 2 and be the good horse that we know he can be. And race number 7, Tango Tara's back, and Diamonds of Cash was a good third last week, so go again on him. And that is all about those picks for the weekend. Sorry, sort of just rushed through. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, don't forget to hit subscribe, tell your friends, tune in, give us a like, subscribe, and comment below if you're liking it. Or just do whatever, and make sure you tune into my Twitter as well. But anyway, good luck if you're having a punt, and I hope it goes well for you boys. See ya.